So a couple weeks ago, I did a video about the pros and cons of going to Quartzsite in the winter with a lot of the snowbirds who flock there. And in that video, I talked about some of the reasons you might want to visit and some of the reasons you may not. In this video, I'm going to talk about, if you do go, 10 of some of the coolest things to do and see while you're in Quartzsite. And you're going to want to stay tuned to the very end because I have a bonus place that you might want to try to find. So you're going to want to stay tuned all the way to the end to find out what that secret mystery spot is and see if you can find it.
There ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Got to find your own.
Hey friendlies, I'm Carolyn and welcome back to my life living in an RV. Today I've got 10 places that you might want to check out if you do plan on visiting the Quartzsite area or if you're already there. I've got 10 spots for you. Many of them I've been to, a couple, full disclosure, I have not. They're a little too touristy for me, but a lot of people go and really enjoy them. So I put together a list for you of things you might want to check out while you're there if you like sightseeing and all kinds of fun things, but you'll see. All right. Number one is the High Jolly Monument. So I think that's probably one of the most popular landmarks in the Quartzsite area. There was a gentleman by the name of Haji Ali, and he was born in Syria in 1828. He died in 1902, and he was part of the U.S. military's attempt to introduce camels into, I think it was the army, to transport gear and things like that in the desert. And I don't know, I guess he became kind of a hero for the camel driving industry of the U.S. Army. And there is a monument at his gravesite, and I believe there is also a cemetery there, and a lot of people love to flock there. They love to see it. There's boondocking near it. So number one on my list is High Jolly. Number two is the Big Tent. We used to call it the Big Tent, but it's actually an RV show, and it's in Skadden, Wash, and it's officially called the Sports Vacation and RV Show. I talked about this a little bit in my last video, and if you didn't see that video about the pros and cons of going to Quartzsite, I'll put a link below in the video description, and also at the end, if you're watching it, I think on a cell phone or a laptop, you'll be able to click the card at the end. But it's a big, huge event. It runs from January 20th to the 28th this year. It's like a big, huge trade show for RV, outdoor, camping. And you can go, there's an RV show, so thousands of RVs go, so you can tour RVs if you're in the market for an RV, all kinds of RV accessories and batteries and solar, and there are talks, classes and things like that, lectures. I guess it's kind of like a big trade show with breakout sessions. You can go learn about solar from solar companies. You can go learn about batteries from battery companies. You can learn about boondocking. I know Boondockers Welcome is going to be there. So if you want to learn about RV life, if you are already in RV life and you need to learn more about your products and services and things and how they work in your RV, or you're in the market for solar or batteries, the big RV show might be a great place for you to check out. It also just has a big tent of vendors. There's food and there's every gadget, knickknack, accessory you can imagine you can find there. So it's fun to do if you like to shop. Number three is the Rock and Gem Show, and that runs January 1st through February 8th, and it's a huge international rock, mineral, and gem show. Fun fact, they are the longest running rock and mineral show in the world, and they are the 5th largest in the world. So they have over 150 vendors from 15 different countries. So if you're a rock hound, you like gems and minerals and what are those crystals and things like that, that's definitely something worth checking out. Anybody who has spent time in the Southwest knows how brutal that dry climate can be on your skin. And even as we get older, our skin just doesn't look as hydrated as it used to. And that's why I'm excited to bring you a solution to help moisturize your skin from the inside out. So whether you're heading to the desert or you have just made a New Year's resolution to take better care of your skin, by doing it from the inside out, Hyacera by Ritual is an excellent solution. What I love about it is their transparency. Not only are the capsules transparent, but they have a completely transparent supply chain, so you can know exactly where all of the ingredients in this capsule and all of their products is sourced. That's really important to me. It's also tested by an independent third party to make sure it's free of metals, microbes, and allergens, and it's all non-GMO. So rather than make a New Year's resolution that only 9% of people ever follow through on, why don't you just make ritual part of your daily routine? 1 pill a day. That's it. I take it with my morning supplements, and that's it. I'm done. I know that I have taken good care of my skin today. I've been using it for 3 months now, and I'm in the desert. I've been in the desert a while, and I'm definitely feeling and seeing a difference. So start a healthy habit that you're not going to be break. It's super easy to take care of your skin from the inside out with Hyacera. Ritual is offering you an amazing deal to help you get started. One of the best deals they've ever offered. 40% off your first month, but you have to use the link in the video description below and discount code CarolynsRV40. So start with a daily ritual that you're not going to break, and you're going to be one of those people who are successful in their goals for the new year. Number 4 on my list, Silly Owls. If you haven't been to Silly Owls, you got to go to Silly Owls. There aren't a lot of food choices in Quartzsite anyway, so I don't know, if it's just a matter of there's not a lot of choices or if Silly Owls is just really that good. It is. I went there last year and actually had real pizza with real cheese, and it was delicious. It was very, very good. They have gourmet pizza. They have pasta. They have gluten-free crust. They have beer, which they sell by the gobbler. I can't remember what it was called. They also, I noticed on their website when I was researching this, they also now have cocktails to go. So salads, their salads are pretty good. It gets very, very, very busy at night. I went there last year during lunch, and it wasn't that crowded at all. And it's really it's really good, and it's a really fun place. Everybody knows about Silly Owls, so you got to check out Silly Owls. Number 5 is Kofa Wildlife Refuge, and especially Palm Canyon. So I have been to Kofa. I have camped at Kofa. I've never done the Palm Canyon hike because it's just a popular hike. And you know me, I like to go off the beaten track. I don't like to go where everybody else goes. The nice thing about the desert is you don't need a trail. Unlike parts of New England where there's heavy brush and heavy bush and tree cover, and you kind of need a trail, or you're bushwhacking and getting full of ticks. The beautiful thing about the desert is you can pretty much just go. You don't need a trail, and that's what I have done in Kofa. I camped there near the Border Patrol station many, many years ago, and just wandered around and explored and found some really cool things. But the Palm Canyon hike is very popular. Palm trees just in the middle of the desert. Pretty cool thing to see. But Kofa is known for protecting desert bighorn sheep. So if you love wildlife, there's a lot of bird activity. If you love all that and you just love beautiful desert landscape and you love to hike, it's definitely worth checking out. There is some camping in the area, but there are some areas where you can't camp. So just be aware of that if you're going there. Number 6 is the Bouse Museum. So some of these places are like within, I don't know, a half hour, 45 minutes of Quartzsite. Not everything is right in Quartzsite. I had the privilege of going to the Bouse Museum last year with a group of friends, and it was fun. It's a tiny little 600 square foot building. They cram a lot of history into that tiny space, but there's a lot of mining history, there's military history, and if you have an OHV, off-highway vehicle, or a quad, we used to call them, or a Jeep, or a 4-wheel drive, you can go miles and miles out into the desert to see an old military installation. So if you really like military history, or just history in general, mining history, I think the Bouse Museum, and Bouse in general, it's just a really quirky, fun little town. I think it's worth making the trip out, spend the day out there wandering around. There's a couple different sites around town that are worth seeing. Actually, I'll put that video below. I checked out a couple of them last year, and I'll put a link to that video below as well. So Bouse Museum is number 6 on my list. Number 7 full disclosure, I've never been there, but it might be something you might be interested in. And this is another spot that isn't in Quartzsite, but it's probably half hour, 40 minutes south toward Yuma. And that's the Yuma Territory Prison. So Yuma was a territory, long before it was the big city that it is. And with all the mining and claims and big businesses coming in, of course, they needed a place to lock up their criminals. So they built a prison in 1876. Didn't last very long, though. They closed it down in 1909. But I hear there's some famous train robbers were imprisoned there. So if you're into that kind of history, then that might be something worth checking out. The pictures look pretty cool on the website. So if you are interested in, more local history and prisons, if you want to visit a prison, that might be worth checking out. That's the Yuma Territory Prison, probably about a half hour south of Quartzsite. Number 8 is just the flea market, the roadside flea market that is Quartzsite this time of year. And again, if you're a bargain hunter, if you like antiques, if you like gadgets and tools, the whole town is basically a flea market. Vendors come from all over the country. They set up. I actually heard from one of my viewers that there's an amazing cinnamon roll truck. There's also, what was it? A loaded potato, I think it was, or something last year. So there's some pretty good food there as well. Not a lot I can eat. I've had a couple bites here and there, but there are food vendors. Just, you have to maybe kind of seek them out and look for them among all of the tents, but just drive up and down the 2 or 3 streets that make up Quartzsite, and it's like a flea market. You can literally find anything you want, from twirly things, for your yard, to flags, to LED lights for inside your RV, to clothes, to hats, to tools. I think you could probably find anything in Quartzsite at the flea markets that all the vendors go to. And number 9, things to do in Quartzsite is, of course, the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, also called the RTR. So there is a women's RTR, not to be exclusive to men. It's just that women face some different challenges on the road than men do. So they decided to have a women's RTR to be able to address those challenges in a safe environment. And so the WRTR runs this year from the 11th through the 13th, and it's at the City Park. You can look it up, Rubber Tramp Rendezvous 2024. It'll come right up in Google. And it's the 11th through the 13th. That's the women's RTR. And then the regular RTR for everyone runs the 14th through the 19th. And that's at the Ballparks City Park. Again, another opportunity to learn. They have seminars, they have classes, they have a couple vendors, I think, but it's mostly about learning. And this is just something that Howa and Bob Wells has been doing for a long time to help nomads. So go ahead and check that out. And also, if you want to meet people, great place to go to maybe meet some like-minded people, attend a seminar, strike up conversations, walk around, and you might meet some people. The question's going to be, am I going? I am going to the women's RTR. I am going to be spending probably a day, I'll not a whole day, but I'll probably go one day and walk around. So maybe I'll see you there. All right. Number 10 on my list, and my favorite. My friends and I still talk about what a wonderful time it was. This is in Parker, which is, I think it's northwest. Yeah, I think it's north. It's probably about a half hour north of Quartzsite, and that's Desert Bar, also called the Nellie E Saloon. Amazing, fun, awesome find out in the middle of nowhere. It was just so much fun. It's a bar. They have music. They have food. A live band and dancing, and it's literally, several miles out a pretty rough road. My friends and I were able to go in my friends went in regular cars, regular old 2-wheel drive cars. It's bouncy. You might want to rent like an OHV. You can rent OHVs all over Parker, so you might just want to go ahead and join the fun. Everybody out there goes pretty much in OHVs. They have a parking lot for sure. I did see a short school bus out there. I don't think I would take my RV out. I could, but I mean, it wouldn't be fun. So the road isn't that bad. I don't remember that I couldn't take my RV. Like I said, I saw a short schoolie in the parking lot. So if a short schoolie could do it, probably my RV could do it. But you're better off, instead of worrying all the way out, just join the fun. Rent an OHV. Or just take your regular car out, even if you want to. Just know that you need to have good shocks in it, and it might hurt your suspension a little bit. It's a rocky ride for sure, but well worth the trip. We had an amazing time. It was a lot of fun. Had a group of friends go out and eat and, hang out and listen to the music, and it's just a fun time. So Desert Bar is, I think, probably my favorite. It was just such a fun, out in the middle of nowhere, you find this really cool bar. And by the way, if you are going to go, they are cash only. So even if you want to buy souvenirs, I'm pretty sure the souvenirs, everything is cash only. So take cash before you go. All right. Before I get to the final bonus spot, that's a little bit of a puzzle, a little bit of a mystery. If you want to know where this beautiful, awesome camp is, this is going to be one of my Sunday night travel videos coming up in a few weeks. So every Sunday night, I do a travel video. I try to do more the how-to informational videos like this on Wednesday or Thursday. I've been kind of bouncing around. But if you want to know where this is and you like my videos, you think this video was informative or fun, and you want more, be sure to subscribe below so that you can find out where this awesome place is. Took a brutal hike yesterday too, and that's going to be in the video. All right, finally, number 10, the bonus spot. I'll put a link to this video below. My friend Ralph found an old movie set in the middle of nowhere, literally in the middle of nowhere. And he was like, you guys gotta see this. So we all drove out there one day. I did a video. I think that was part of the Bouse video. I'll put a link to that below. But it's a movie set. I'm not going to tell you where it is. Let's see if you can find it. If you've been there before, leave a comment below that you've been there. And if you happen to find it and you go there, send me a picture of you there. I think it would be really fun to see if you guys can find it. So that's the bonus. There's an old abandoned, what I heard was a show that never made it, or a movie, but it's just kind of a fun find. You never know what you're going to find in the desert. And that's what I love about the desert. Just go wander around and you never know what you're going to find. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's kind of ew. That's a story for another day. All right. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you. And if you want healthier, more hydrated skin, don't forget to check out Hyacera from Ritual using the link in the video description below, scanning the QR code, and using CarolynsRV40 to get 40% off. And I think that's all I have for you today. I'll see you next time. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. Let me leave you some views. You want to see? You want to see what I'm looking at? What I've been sitting in? Isn't it amazing?